Good morning. I am late. Happy Tuesday. It's Hobby Evolution episode 416. I am late. I feel like absolute garbage this morning. Uh, I woke up yesterday, and yesterday morning I had some, not congestion, but just some pressure. It was really cold yesterday for like the first time. So my sinuses, my allergies, whatever they are, give me fits when we have dramatic changes in temperature and in weather. So I just, I thought it was that. I felt great. I mean, I was listing, throughout the day. By the way, eBay store replenished 529 listings added yesterday thanks to File Exchange. I was actually going to talk about that this morning. I'll push that back a little more on File Exchange and the Fujitsu printer and or scanner and all that. So I had my COVID booster shot yesterday. I actually thought it was Tuesday. Fortunately, my wife reminded me yesterday morning, and she said, "Oh, don't forget your booster shots today." Oh crap! So got my booster shot, and I was still feeling fine. And then like an hour after I got my booster shot, I don't know if I picked up like a head cold from the weekend, from the card show over the weekend, and it just happened to hit me simultaneously after receiving the COVID booster shot. I feel a little different. I did feel crappy after my first COVID shot, but not my second. I felt great after my second shot. My arm is more sore after yesterday's booster than it was after the second shot, but the first shot it was super sore. So I don't know if I'm feeling like I have my from my neck up, my face, my head, super congested. I feel like I'm wearing a hoodie. Normally I don't wear hoodies Monday through Thursday. Give myself casual Friday for hoodie Friday. Um, so yeah, I laid in bed, took a hot shower, still feel like garbage. I'm gonna go lay on the couch. Got some shipping to do today. So this is probably going to be short, but there are some topics that I just wanted to touch on. So yeah, so that's what I just spent the first 2.5 minutes of today's show is what they tell you not to do on morning radio. I spent 10, 12 years in morning radio, and you're supposed to be, no matter if you feel like garbage, if you were, I was in my 20s doing this. So there were a lot of times I went into the radio station feeling a little hungover. And, no matter how bad you feel, you've got to be perky because everybody you're talking to driving to work, they don't want to be driving to work. They don't want to share the misery with the guy talking to them through the speakers. They want to be lifted up as they drive to work. So I try to I try to pass that along in my morning YouTube chats. Try to pump you up and not bring you down with 3 minutes of me talking about how crappy I feel. Zach, good morning. Diego, what's up? Dan, sleepy. It's really late over there. I'm surprised you're still with me. Thanks for checking in. Dr. Zach says I have my booster Friday. Did it Friday so I don't lift the next day or need to work. Yeah, and I didn't even think about the potential side effects of the booster because I felt fine after the second shot, so I'm like I should be good to go. Now my wife also got the booster yesterday. Now she received the Pfizer vaccine for shots 1 and 2, and she felt fine after the second shot. She had a little fatigue, but didn't deter her. I felt like absolute crap after my first shot, felt fine after my second shot. And then she got the Moderna booster yesterday, and she felt like crap last night, but only for a short time, like shortly and probably the same time period before I started feeling like crap. But mine's already lasted because I started feeling crappy like yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, and I'm still feel like absolute garbage. When I was feeling down after the first shot, it only lasted like 8 hours. I felt like crap in the morning, but then by the afternoon, I didn't feel as bad. I was tired, I was fatigued, but I didn't have all of this going on. Also, I want to bring up one more point about my feeling ill this morning, because this is like one of those like I think my body was my body was telling my like part of my brain was telling me that hey, you're gonna be sick. So my wife asked to pick up some Diet Coke and we needed some bottled water. So after my shot, I went down to the beverage aisle, picked up Diet Coke and water, and as I'm cruising down the pop aisle, I see some ginger ale. And I'm like, man, I haven't had ginger ale in a long time. And every once in a while I'll get on these ginger ale kicks, but it's been a couple of years. Now, here's the ironic thing. My grandma would feed me ginger ale. Like that was my drink when I was sick. My grandma would give me ginger ale when I was sick. And that's why I didn't really drink it that often through childhood, because that was the sick drink. Like I drank ginger ale when I was sick. So when I felt good, it was just a reminder of being sick. So I pulled down a 6-pack of bottles of ginger ale, which normally I never would have done. So it's really weird that just hours before I start feeling like garbage, I pick up my childhood beverage that I drank when I was sick. So I found that I just thought about that this morning. I'm like, it's kind of funny that I picked up ginger ale and then it's like, wait, this is bizarre. Thanks, Diego. I've heard a lot of people react to boosters, but then I've heard that doctors say it's good you react to the booster. Yeah, the guy who administered the shot said you might have side effects, you might not. He asked me, after the first or second shot. I'm like, I felt fine after the second shot. He's like, well, maybe you won't have any side effects, but just be prepared to take it easy tomorrow. So they are telling you to take it easy. At least the guy that punctured my arm, actually my shoulder, it's really sore. The difference is we actually care about your well-being and want you to feel better. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ken, what's up? I was actually up shortly after 7 this morning. We're not on the same page. Sounds like you're not feeling well. Hope you're feeling better soon. Thank you. Wifey and I are intentionally not getting ours on the same day because of feeling sick. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I listened to Ken and Herman while I was in the chat. So I bounced out. I was doing shipping as I was watching. And I got to a point where I was doing file exchange all day. And it's like, I just need to, even though I still had screen, I wanted to watch some basketball. So I've got to rewatch like the second half. I watched like a half an hour, I think. So I've got to finish watching your show from last night. But the Illini were on last night and the Badgers were on last night, back to back doubleheader. So I wanted to watch some basketball. Let's be honest, I have no idea why you listened to us. It was good. Hey, sometimes those random non-card topics are fun. Like, what's up, Jeremy? Like Herman's chickens. Like I never knew there was such a thing. I find that fascinating. So I learned something. So it was fun. And then I went and watched what did Illini do? They absolutely played like garbage. They played worse than I feel this morning. They were up by 12 points. I think they were up by 12 points in the second half. By the time I turned it on, it was like an 8 or 9 point game. They were winning, and it was just kind of and they just turned the ball. And Andre Curbelo, super fun to watch, but he had a super terrible, crappy game. And there's Jeremy. Curbelo was unbelievably bad. Curbelo did absolutely horrendous. I saw like when I turned it on, he made like a really cool play, like fun hustle play. And I'm like, man. And I even tweeted it on my personal account, which I do more of my college basketball talk on my personal account. And I actually don't tweet very much on that one, but so I tweeted Andre Curbelo's, really fun to watch. And then after that, he turned the ball over like every time he touched it. They ended up losing. And it was just bad. They played Marquette in Milwaukee at the Fiserv Forum where the Bucks play. And it was one of the worst college basketball at that level that I've seen in a while. The Illini kept turning the ball over down the stretch. I mean, and then Marquette didn't do themselves any favors. Marquette missed. So I think it was a 1-point game. Marquette was down by 1 and missed both free throws. And the Illini turned the ball over. And then on the next possession, it was, I think Marquette made it to go up, and this might have been the last score. They made a layup, and then missed the free throw. It was an and one, missed the free throw. Illini get it, and then the Illini turn the ball over again. I'm gonna have to go back and read the play-by-play because the last 2-minute sequence of that game was just horrendous, just absolutely horrendous. Illini can't get any good recruits. Actually, no, they have some really top shelf talent. Andre Curbelo, I think he's a preseason second team All-American, maybe. And Kofi Coburn is a first team All-American. So they have talent. Like, they have really top shelf talent. They're ranked 10th. Well, they're not going to be ranked 10th next week, but going into last night's game, they were ranked 10th in the country. Then I watched my Wisconsin Badgers. I shouldn't even have put this hoodie on because they played even worse offensively. And I guess it's Badger basketball. Jeremy says Adam Miller transferring was, that set him back. Adam Miller, I don't know what, that was a weird, I don't know what happened there, and I haven't heard anything. He's a Peoria kid, and then he transferred to, I think he went to Simeon or Morgan Park maybe. He was a Morgan Park kid. And then he went to the Illini, and then he transferred. So it's just, and I think he actually moved a couple times, like junior high age. So I'm not sure why he went to LSU. So that was a bizarre. And then Kofi like entering the transfer portal and naming like a Final Four and then going back to the Illini. Like, what? I don't know what was going on in the program. It was really weird what was going on in the Illini basketball program in the offseason. So the Badgers, in historically, the Badgers suck offensive. Not suck, but they play the Bo Ryan ball. What's up, Mike? Good morning. Awful game. Yes, it was. So the Illini played Marquette, and then Wisconsin played Providence, and Wisconsin lost. And it was, I mean, I was like falling asleep watching their game. I think it was 34-23 at halftime, 23 points in the first half, just absolutely brutal. I was former coworker, has season tickets, so we were texting back and forth, and it was halftime, and I'm like, this is a brutal game. I give up. And I think it was 9:00. I went to bed. Last good team I remember was the 05 Illini, same year as Bears 06 Super Bowl. Yeah. The Illini had, they should have had a good run last year. They lost in the second round. It was a bad matchup. I mean, they were a top seed and had to play Loyola, which last year as an 8 seed, that's just that the Illini were given no breaks last year. That, they shouldn't have been matched up against Loyola. Shouldn't have been an 8. The Illini shouldn't have been matched up with Loyola as an 8. But hey, who knows how things would have worked out? But yeah, the Illini were really good last year. Like, they were, like Mike says, number 2 in the country. So yeah, they've had a couple good years. I think they'll have a great season this year. They'll be a top 10 team by the end of the year. Curbelo's got to calm down. And Kofi didn't play. You have a first team preseason All-American not playing. So I think he has one more game before he can come back. He had a 3-game suspension for, I think, selling T-shirts before July 1st when the NIL rule went into effect. So the NCAA suspended him 3 games for that. So I think he'll miss the next game, and then he'll be back for game 4. So I love college basketball in November with some of these matchups. And then December, January, it kind of gets into the dog days of winter, and I kind of, I just loosely watch. And then by February, I'm back into it as you get down the stretch, get into the conference tournaments, and then of course March Madness. I'm all in. So my college basketball talk, that's whack too because he sold them when he was planning on going to the draft. Oh yeah, that's a good point. So there was some news, and Ken and Herman were talking about this last night. Check it out on Herman's channel, 3B Collection. And I didn't see this until their show. There's another like controversial card in Project 70 where it's, borderline. I'm not going to come out and say theft, borderline theft. of a mantle card by King Saladin. So what happened was he was inspired by was Pop Fly Pop Shop art, who has some awesome stuff. Um, and the artist, Pop Fly Pop Shop, actually like quote tweeted, and he's like, you lifted my art and my name is still on it. So and I don't know, I haven't had, I just came down and turned it on. I haven't had a chance to look if that card was, was that a tease yesterday that's going to be released today? I think that might have been a tease. So it'll be interesting if this card does end up getting released. Now, the thing is, it wasn't completely ripped off. It was an inspiration. Like in every piece of art is inspired by, something else. That's just, hardly anything is, made up out of the blue. So the thing is, there's enough there that it does look pretty ripped off from the original artist. Now, he did leave Popfly Pop Shot's name on the card, like, and you can see it in his original piece, where his name Popfly Pop Shop is, and it's in the same place on this King Saladin Project 70 card. But he altered, and I don't know the laws behind art and what's copyright law, I don't know. I don't think any of us in this room probably know. We're not copyright trademark attorneys. So I don't know like because we know, and Ken, I think, brought this up, or Herman brought this up last night about like Vanilla Ice. And, you change a couple beats or a couple chords or whatever that is in music, and you can get away with it. And it's just like parody. Like you can, in music and parody, you can blatantly rip off songs, but it's for parody. And I don't know in the art world what that is. And, I brought up, and I said it initially, and Ken caught me. I said it initially tongue in cheek, like, well, he's citing his work. And I said it tongue in cheek initially. And then when I read it again, after I typed it and hit enter and I read it, I thought more about it. And it really, like, wait, that's true. Like, I mean, if you're writing a book, and I'm sure there's big differences between copyright, trademark, plagiarism in authorship and artist, but you're citing your sources. Like, you can lift quotes and put it in your own book with your name, Cubs History by Thompson. As long as I cite my sources, Johnson, according to John Johnson in the 1963 Chicago trip, do that, and it's done in almost every book out there. Your sources. So was King Saladin, and I know this sounds goofy, and it is, and it's a super gray area too. Like, what was going through his mind? Did he actually think? And we don't know. Like, we're not inside the mind of King Saladin. We don't know if he legitimately kept Popfly Pop Shop on the card just to potentially avoid any trouble, or it was just, I'm going to lift this, and, I didn't even notice this. Was he just going too fast that he didn't even notice it? We don't know. We're not in the mind. None of us can accurately say one way or the other if it was meant to be there or not. So my thoughts, I really don't have, I'm not educated in copyright and in trademarks. So I can't offer an honest opinion. Well, I can offer an opinion. But is it plagiarism? Is it legal? Is it not legal? Is it theft of art? I don't know. But my opinion is it looks bad. And initially it's like, it's on Topps to police this. But the more I thought about it, it's not. Like, yes, it is. Like, an artist isn't going to submit a piece for the Project 70 with F face, like written out, F-U, you can spell. That's gonna, the Topps is gonna see that and say, no. We're not going to release this as part of our project. But when it comes to this, how are they to know Pop Fly Pop Shot? or whatever his name is. It's not like he's Banksy or, this famous artist. Um, so are they going to know every piece of art out there? No. So a lot of the responsibility has to go back on to the artists. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, if Tops can't police it, they need to police the artists. And if they're not going to oblige by the art rules, then they should be out of the project. And I kind of agree with that. If an artist is if it is theft, and I don't know if it really is, if it is theft of art, they should be booted. And it's like, hey, you're an artist, better. Like, you're done. So with the recent issues that Tops has had with Project 70, it's a really bad look. And I'm to the point where I was buying all the Cubs from Project 70. I don't even really check anymore. And part of that is because I'm not really in buying mode right now. But I was, buying, and I missed 2 cards. I missed 2 Cubs cards. So now it's like, well, I missed those 2 cards. Yes, I could go to eBay. I could buy them on the secondary market, but it's ran its course. And I knew going in, Project 70 with 1,020 cards or 1,050, whatever it is a lot of freaking cards. And there's going to be a lot of fatigue halfway in. And I think we're how far along are we? 75% of the way in. I mean, we're not that far in, or we're, fairly the lights at the end of the tunnel. And it's like, what? I mean, this is like the 3rd issue in the last 2 weeks. Tops took, several days off last week before resuming the project. It's giving Tops a really bad look. It's giving the artists as a whole a bad look. And I tweeted this last night. I feel bad for the legitimate artists, and I don't want to name names because I don't want to forget anybody, but there are legitimate artists who are taking this seriously, and you can tell based on their social media interactions and their performances within the project. I feel bad for them because these other artists that are towing that line are giving the project and the entire project a bad name, which also, reflects on Tops itself and the other artists involved with the project. So it'll be interesting to see what all transpires with this particular card. Will it be released? What will happen? So who knows? Zach says, minute behind, go Bulls. DR says, do you think any pro sports team would follow the Packers ownership model and be owned by the fans? I don't know. I think there's some institutions, and I can say this at the collegiate level, there's been inspiration by it. I don't think any team has actually done the Packers Kroger model. Is it Kroger that's employee owned or whatever it is? Maybe. I don't know. I saw that Packers ownership slips went on sale this morning. I don't know if I would have, like, if the Cubs did something like that. The Cubs did something similar with their bricks. Like, I don't think there's anything else exactly like the Packers ownership model. And but other franchises do similar thing, like the Cubs with the bricks, like you own part of Wrigley Field with your brick, basically. I don't have a brick. I don't think I would buy a share of my team. Like, I don't know, maybe. It's just not something that kind of falls in line with fractional ownership. And I'm into stocks, but when it comes to fractional ownership of trading cards, I have zero interest. And I think I would have zero interest in fractional ownership of a professional sports franchise. But it's popular, and I'm sure it sold out quickly. Fall Creek says, I missed the beginning. What about Popfly? There's some, go to Twitter and just check out his Twitter feed, and you'll read all about it. It's a Project 70. One of the artists in Project 70 lifted a piece of his work, to put it quickly. Probably increases the value and visibility of that original artist. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So we'll see if, what comes. It'll be interesting what comes out of it. So that's about all I wanted to talk about today. I'm gonna hit the couch and get some rest, and I've got some shipping to do. Tonight I will be on Hobby Hotline 8:00 with Drew and Jason. So I'm sure we'll talk more about the this issue, and hopefully more comes out. We'll learn more throughout the day. So that's coming up tonight. Hobby Hotline. Check it out on YouTube and other platforms. So that starts at 8 p.m. Central tonight. It's Hobby Hotline Overtime. So looking forward to that. So have a great Tuesday. Thanks for bearing with me for my tardiness, and have a great Tuesday.